Hello, everyone. So today we have Mr. Praveen with us. He probably needs no introduction to the Indian Salesforce community and US as well. But to just touch upon the brief credentials, he is currently VP of Digital Customer Success at Salesforce, 2 decades or 20 plus years in learning business transformation, customer success. At Salesforce, he initially was into Trailhead learning technology and operations, probably something we all consumed as an end user by obtaining badges, by getting credentials and accessing the community and all the things which Trailhead brings. And he's currently leading digital success engineering at Salesforce. Before that, he has an impressive leadership role experience at VMware, NetApp, Oracle, and Cisco. Welcome, Praveen.
Thank you, Abhinav. Thank you for having me.
Perfect. So one thing, Praveen, which is very exciting is we both share a KV background. And KV, for those who don't know, it's Kendriya Vidyalaya. It's a central school. And I think you have a military background as well. You are son of an Air Force officer. Why don't you touch upon that thing? How did you move from India till here? And how was that Air Force parenting journey like?
Oh, certainly. I think that's a good question. And I think it will also translate into some of the career choices I made. So, as many of the folks know, being part of the military family, and in my case, a kid to moved pretty much, I would say, all over India every 2 to 3 years with my parents. Studied in Kendriya Vidyalayas, so KV upbringing, and anytime I find another KVite, I get really excited about it. Actually, it helped me at that point of time as a kid. You probably sometimes don't like it as you have to lose your friends and
Friends
have
and yeah.
make new friends all the time. But very soon, actually, it helped me to give a new perspective of like you go to a new place, you need to be very open in terms of embracing all the experiences. And in India, every state is like new culture, new language, new food. So it looks like almost like you're in a new country at times. So being very adaptable and learning new languages and having fun with it, and of course making new friends and all, it helped in the career journey as well eventually, that you are not afraid to go into new spaces or new places and new countries, even new environments, new companies. So that actually helped quite a bit in terms of like never be afraid to try new things and new experiences, and always be open and welcoming towards it.
Right. And I think for a kid, especially, it's a tough thing to break ice at a new place, especially in a new cultural setting. I don't know which places in India touched. Maybe like you can tell me top 3 places which you liked most or which you can say, which had the most impact on your childhood.
Yeah, I would so I'll quickly go over. My dad was in Assam when I was born, and don't have like many memories of it because I was like very little. But I think the places I remembered most is Pune, which my father was posted twice, and then Agra, where most of my high school education was there, and then Srinagar. Especially like I being there for a couple of years, and during that point of time, like it's all snowy environment, plus all the that point of time unrest was going on with all the military, I mean the terrorism and all that. So like totally different environment, different experiences. So those three cities come to mind, and all three of them have a different impact on how you see the world and how you embrace. And finally I would say Baroda, Gujarat, where that was a time when I actually told my parents that I cannot continue to move with you anymore. I came out of high school to college life, did my, in India we call it graduation and post graduation. Here in US we call it undergrad and grad.
Hmm.
So that was my college life in Gujarat, where I actually parted my ways from my parents. And they said, "Okay, you are on your own journey, and I need to pick my own journey." So those are the places come to mind.
Right, right. And those who are listening, especially from the international community, all these 4 cities or states have a very distinct flavor and touch in the way people behave, act.
Yeah.
Food, I think, to some extent, is very contrast between a few of them, but definitely very interesting exposure. But let's keep moving forward. How did things shaped up from Baroda to where you have for landing like first job and going from there?
Yeah, I was in Baroda. I was doing my master's and MCA, and I think many people would remember a company with the name CMC Limited.
Hmm.
So I got selected as part of my campus interviews for my first job at CMC, and it was, I think, probably in our entire batch we were two of us who were picked and decided to continue with the first job offer in hand. It was very exciting at that point of time, and I got an opportunity to come to Delhi, a part of the CMC Limited. So during college days, one of the exciting thing, and I think which I have not seen that much in like US schools here, is you get a chance, even that point of time, talking about like 25-30 years, you get a chance to work on the latest and greatest technologies, even at school level sometimes. So I was very fortunate to work on Oracle internals, and I fell in love with Oracle at that point of time. It's like, this is the career I want to be, and I want to one day work for a company called Oracle, or company Oracle. And when I took that job on from like coming to CMC, and that's why I was selected, because they were doing the computerization of a financial firm called Unit Trust of India
Hmm.
across all locations in India. And that meant that you are basically traveling all over India for different UTI branches and helping them computerize, like implementing Oracle on Unix at that point of time. So took that job on, worked for almost a year and a half to 2 years on that initiative project. And then came 1998. I mean, end of 97, beginning of 98, when India's election commission decided they want to computerize all elections. That was the first computerized election for India, and
Hmm.
they picked CMC because CMC was a semi-government enterprise. So
Okay.
all the government contracts, like even Indian railway system, was built by CMC. So they got the contract, and I was part of the team. I got an opportunity to, coming from database Oracle background, got an opportunity to build the entire data model and architecture and database for 98 Lok Sabha elections.
Oh,
And
very nice.
so I took that opportunity on, and as I was doing that, it was like the Y2K rush from all international companies. So we were getting multiple job offers while being in India from like multiple US companies at that point of time. And I was like, I've gotten this opportunity to like make an impact, be part of such a prestigious project. I want to finish it. I don't want to leave it like halfway. But at the same time, was excited about the US opportunities. Had a conversation with my team, my leadership, and they said, no, you cannot leave until the project is over. In fact, got to a point where the leadership, I mean the election commission, they were holding all of our passports so that nobody can leave India,
Okay.
because it was a government project, right?
Oh,
Um,
wow.
so basically that meant was you have no option but to get the project done, and so we worked like very high pressure environment, being sitting in the election commission office for almost
Hmm.
like month and a half, 2 months. We were not even allowed to kind of leave frequently. We were just going like on the weekends, back going get the fresh clothes, and so that we can go home, do the laundry, and come back. Kind of setup at that point of time. So I think it was April, end of March, April, when the elections got over, and then after a week, we were allowed that now, if you want, you can leave the country. So that was 98. Came to US and took on another Oracle data warehouse architect job in US. So worked in US for, I would say, about 2 to 3 years in that role until year 2000, where I, with the help of my database background, got into the learning space in year 2000, and it's been 25 years being in the learning and certification space since then.
Oh, that started then very early. I thought it's a recent transition.
Now it's
But yeah,
been
it's
that
very
long.
interesting. Okay, but it's very interesting to know how your passports were being held and you worked and that thing. How was that? Like, is it like in Delhi, Election Commission office, or where was that located?
Yeah, it was the Delhi Election Commission office. So
Okay,
basically, which is the main office where all the election commissioners they sit, and the chief election commissioner also sits. So we used to basically engage with them on a daily basis, where they'll make rounds and will come to our like they used to call it computer center.
computer, right?
Yeah, where all the computers were set up. So, and you will be like really high pressure environment where your election, like chief election commissioner, is standing behind you and watching what you're doing. And we were like doing that PL SQL coding at that point of time. I remember.
Right. I think at that time we are somehow used to of that kind of things. These days people can't do that. I'm not sure if it's still happening somewhere in world or in India, but boss used to stand like this and stare at your computer, and you have to
Yeah,
do the thing which I've worked in that kind of environment.
yeah.
So, well, very nice. Then, like, if we fast forward, then Oracle, NetApp, even VMware. So, and then finally into Salesforce. So, what was like your, like, say, interest level, and how do you came to know about Salesforce and got excited about this opportunity?
So as I mentioned, like year 2000 was when I got an entry into the like learning space. So that was at Cisco, and Cisco
Hmm.
was implementing they had like smaller learning platforms. They were implementing like you can say across the company, sunsetting all learning platforms and building one experience for in the entire company, both internal and external. So we were building that learning management system or LMS at that point of time. And I was a database architect person, part of the team, and we consolidated into one experience. And then because I was a consultant, not an employee of Cisco, I also had an opportunity to do a side consulting. Like I used to do on the weekends, like had 2 or 3 consulting jobs in my hand, where I would fly in on Friday evening and then would be implementing a learning management system for another company, and then back on Sunday night to go back to Cisco. In 25 years or so, I would say probably easily 35 to 40 LMS implementations across different segments, different industries, for airlines, for financials, for like multiple industries. Got me good exposure to different use cases and different technologies. Doesn't matter a database, doesn't matter middleware, doesn't matter like any front end experiences. Got exposure to multiple companies and multiple platforms. And as part of that, from like Cisco to Hyperion to NetApp and VMware, that was my actually journey where most of those engagements were all building a new learning management system, or implementing, or consulting for implementing and being part of the team as an architect, solution architect, and sometimes even technical architect, and helping guide the team. I played program project manager roles for the some of these initiatives. And as part of the journey, I've been fortunate to work with like really amazing leaders. And when you have that brand of like strong business plus technical knowledge, along with the success track record of like getting things done in time and the budget and all that good stuff in the tech industry. So you are automatically connected to like strong
The
leaders in
right
the industry.
people.
And whenever there's a new opportunity, people reach out to you. Hey, we have this exciting opportunity. We are starting a new team, or want to do this. Would you like to join us? Kind of. So I was fortunate enough to work with some of those leaders, and there was one leader who actually I worked for 3 or 4 companies or jobs together. We worked together. So at Salesforce, I think I got my initial opportunity in 2007. And that time Salesforce was like just very small
Yeah,
kind of
very
startup
small.
company. At that
Right.
time, didn't take that offer seriously, and I regretted it at that point of time. And then this opportunity opened up again. And a similar thing where leader of Salesforce University, senior vice president, he reached out to me saying, "Hey, I'm starting and like building a new team here, and for both learning and the certification platform to basically completely transform and build new. Would you like to lead that and build the team for it?" And I said, yeah, certainly. And I was actually looking forward to another opportunity to work at Salesforce. And especially if you get this kind of opportunity, who would say no? So I said, yeah, I would definitely love to take this on. So joined actually this last Friday, completed my 9 years. And
Okay, very nice.
it has been an amazing journey, for like starting as a one person team to now close to like 140, people organization. And yeah, I
Yeah,
was like,
I think I have an interesting question here. So it's started with Cisco. So it's like year 2000, right? Or nearby that time frame.
it was, year 2000, I started with Cisco.
Okay. Now I was thinking in back of my head, what stack or how do you approach LMS in 2000? Like, what was Cisco's biggest challenges at that time? And I think you said that they're consolidating and cleaning up their learning management systems and bringing up a new one. So, brief on what kind of stack and what kind of challenges they had in 2000.
Yeah, I think even today many companies do it, but at that point of time, it was more of individual organization, individual teams. They're deciding based on their use case what solution they want to go with. So, for example, like partner team, a partner enablement team, they had their own instance of learning management system, and they worked with another SaaS vendor to. At that point of time, there were very few SaaS vendors. Most
Yeah,
of
I was
the
wondering that. Yeah.
yeah implementation used to be on-prem.
Okay.
So they had like learning management instance for partner enablement, another team for sales enablement, another team for internal employee enablement. So they were
Hmm.
Cisco was looking for how can we and can we bring one learning management system that was also on-prem for Cisco at that time. So that is why we used to have our own database. So I was hired as a database architect for that. And so basically implementation, entire end-to-end implementation from like on the Unix platform, from database to middleware to the front-end experience, building all that. And we were partnering with another company who actually sold the licenses for the learning management system to us. And they were also new in this space, a company called Saba, a learning management system. And and decided to partner with Cisco to actually, and Cisco was one of the big companies where even the Saba decided that we can actually help enhance their product with multiple complex use cases in both internal and external, and actually get their product to the next level. And actually, we did. We challenged and partner with the leadership team in multiple use cases and evolve the product quite a bit.
Right, right. So you said like Unix was the system and Oracle was database, right? And what was the front end like in that time? Because JavaScript was not there. It was mainly barebone HTML, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, it was HTML. It was a combination of like your web technologies, whatever were available at that point of time. And as I said, different departments, different teams, they had different front end. Some were more Unix based, some were more Microsoft technologies. So it was all mixed. So basically standardizing on one was also an interesting experience at that point of time.
Right, right. And I think in those days, these softwares, which you are saying on-prem, and must be coming in DVDs, if I'm not wrong, or CDs, because there was like no
Yep.
internet delivery like this. You download and
Yeah.
install those things.
Yep. Exactly.
So that was
It
my
used to be
first
like
job.
even either that or you basically have a file downloadable on FTP server, and then you are transferring it and getting it, then installing it. Yeah.
Right, right. So how do you see that evolution, like from Cisco to having that kind of system? And I think by front end, I can safely put it to a bucket like server side heavy rendering, because probably that's what the way people used to do web pages in those times. Everything was written on server and it's mostly dumbed down browser.
Yep.
Like
Yep.
what major next shift you saw in LMS from Cisco, from technology and general approach standpoint also?
Yeah, I think the biggest shift was from moving from, I think, on-prem to, even I would say, still I'm sure many companies they have on-prem implementations, but most of them have moved to a SaaS based. So that was a transition where, depending upon the comfort level of the company, I would say we are pretty much going into the similar phase now with AI, where the companies they want to try it out, but they're skeptical about the security, skeptical about the data, skeptical about multiple things, right? So it was kind of similar phase of not every company being very comfortable with SaaS. And what do you mean? We are not going to own our data. It's going to be somewhere in the cloud. And so trying out, like depending upon the comfort level of different companies, we had in some it was 100% on-prem. In some we had like we were transitioning where you do both, and then in some cases it was purely SaaS, depending upon when the company started, depending upon how new and how innovative the company is. Different mindsets of from the leadership and from the IT organization.
Right, right. And did you see gamification, these badges from the starting in LMS, or was it like a 5 year, 10 year ago thing, like when this term was coined? I don't know when it came.
I think what I saw was it mainly started as part of the sales enablement organization.
Okay.
And that's where I saw the early start of gamification, where you want to make it fun for the sales organization and sales teams to learn quickly about their products and to be able to sell. So that was the early adoption from my experience point of view in the sales enablement or enablement side. And then
Hmm.
slowly it actually transitioned to other roles like the developer roles, or because if you, I mean, that's the fact even today, the employee compliance training, everybody has to do it, you don't have a choice. But the places where you have a choice, it's not mandated. That is where most of the companies were putting their energy to make it more fun and gamified. And
Right.
these were the roles which were initially targeted. How can we make it fun? How can we make it easy? How can we make it gamified? How can we track that? And especially when you think about the I remember that some of the conversations initially like to bring that competitiveness, like leaderboards and all that, right?
Mm.
So the to make it more competitive for like sales leaders to see who's at the top and how you can get there. And so lot of focus was there at that point of time.
Right. Right. No, that's for sure. I think, and sales enablement, I think you're right. That's first thing where you really want people to pick up the thing and go in market and make an impact also.
Yep.
But if you move forward now to Trailhead, how do you see that is being different from the Cisco days, and in middle also the various LMS exposures you had?
I would say Trailhead actually changed the narrative altogether. That it's not just for one role or the like, for basically anybody or everybody can benefit from the gamified experience. And that was a big shift. I mean, yes, it started for a specific audience, like our developer audience, to make the content easily accessible and also fun at the same time. So that we call it Trail Heart, of like how you share the content and how you make the content even like engaging. So Chris Duarte, who was the leader from the content perspective, she used to say that you even like the content initially was very closely monitored and curated to make sure it has that a specific tone and which speaks to the audience and like for better engagement. And that was a big shift which Trailhead brought in. I mean, yes, I've seen many platforms copying the look and feel of what Trailhead started offering, but
Hmm.
not the content. The Trailheart is not there, and I think that was a big shift in terms of how you actually make the content easily consumable and easily like engaging and fun learning. And plus, yes, the gamified experience on top of it, the badges, the modules, and all the confetti you get when you complete. So that
Yeah, that's a
was.
very pleasing experience. But totally agree on the content angle, because you don't just want to consume any other help article. There is already a lot on help.salesforce.com. So it
Yeah.
has to be something more fun and relatable depending on the persona also. So totally agree on that part. But let's come back to the Trailhead starting point. Like when you joined the team, what was the first few challenges or first few key KPIs for you? Like we have to do this thing, and how is that evolving from then?
Yeah, I mean, Trailhead, if you see, like there are, I would say, four big pillars from my perspective. One is definitely the online self-paced content, which most of us are familiar with. Then it has Trailblazer community, which is the magic of bringing our community together to learn from each other. Then it has instructor-led or expert-led training, which is a scheduled learning part of the Trailhead Academy. And then the certifications. I see these are the four big pillars of like the Trailhead ecosystem. And
Mhm.
my team primarily focused on the expert-led training and the certification, and partnering very closely with my peers to
Mhm.
on the Trailhead. In terms of experiences, we saw this as a full journey of like when the Trailhead team as an organization formed Learn, Earn, and Connect. Learning was, as I said, from the self-paced as well as from like experts with the scheduled training, which if you want to go deep technical, you can in the classroom setup. Then earn is either you earn the badges, super badges, or certification credentials, we call it, and then connect through the community. So this was initially, these teams were separate. When these teams were formed or the concepts were formed, that we need to offer like self-paced in form of gamified experience, and then scheduled training, and then community was like different teams, and then all came together as part of one trailhead, so that for our trailblazers, for our customers, they have one experience, one place you can have the entire journey together. So that was a transition from like being individual focus to bringing all this together. Now, in terms of the measurements, we were looking at from initial engagement points, because if you want to get the really foundational training, doesn't matter what product you want to learn about, or even if you want to learn about just about the Salesforce, not even product, you would starting very early in your career. So Trailhead has all types of content, and
Yeah,
at multiple
CRM
levels.
basics and everything, right?
Yeah. And then want to go into like really deep technical training, you can transition to a more like scheduled classes where you have a expert engagement. You can go into the specific business use cases, and then certifications for showing that you are expert at certain level and you have acquired these certificates. And throughout that journey, there was a community for engagement. Doesn't matter what level you are or you're a beginner, you have the community support and be engaging, be part of it. Like you yourself have been MVP, so you know the community really well.
Right.
So that's I would say full ecosystem of Trailhead.
Perfect, perfect. So now, if we go forward, so one habit which I think I had also, and I think you and everybody had, is we used to go on Google, open blogs, read it carefully, and process it and do our research. But now we all have some form of LLM or chat-based assistant, AI assistant, which actually drills down the information very quickly. So I think the research thing is slowing down or dying up. I don't know what's the right word. How do you see LMS going for not just Trailhead, but any LMS, how they can keep up with this kind of quick, rapid answering and rapid thing coming up and answering and catering to what they really want to see rather than just a fixed content? So, what is your vision for those kind of things?
Yeah, uh, definitely. Like any other platform or any other offering, this also needs to evolve, and it is evolving. It's in very early stages. How I see this is the traditional way of like, yes, the product is getting launched, and then there's a training there's like basically knowledge articles, release notes, and all that. Traditionally, if you want to make that content available as part of the learning platform, like be it a Trailhead, either self-paced or instructor led in the classroom setting, it takes an effort to build the content. I mentioned about a specific tone and all that, right?
Right.
It takes a like effort from, depending upon how mature the organization is, from like 3 to 4 weeks to sometimes a couple of months or even longer to build the content for a specific audience, for a specific classroom, for specific setting, etc. uh, and there's a major shift needed there. And some companies have already started, and my vision there is that is what is going to be a differentiator in terms of how quickly you can adopt to the new expectations. And then those new expectations are and especially with the now in AI era, the products are coming quickly, the enhancements are coming quickly, the new features are coming quickly. And when I say quickly, sometimes like within a week you will have a new new feature, things rolled out.
Right.
No traditional way of thinking where it takes months to build the content is going to scale, or all of those approaches are going to be obsolete. So what do you need is, as soon as a new product is getting available to the market, how quickly you can leverage the technology today, which is like AI, and combination of LLMs, and combination of basically getting all the existing content together to tailor the content to be available right at the time of when the product is launching. It does not have to be like
Long cycle to
I would say
process.
100% perfect, but the expectation is it's good enough to be able to educate, to be able to create awareness, to be able to get the people. Like when you are putting the product in the hands of the people, like either internal or external. When I say internal, it's like your sales team, your support team, who are actually engaging with the customers. They need to know about the features. They need to able to support the product. Right at that time, the content needs to be available in both, like is a short form which is easily consumable, and you can talk about it. You can, like, for salespeople perspective, you can able to educate your customers on what it is, how it is going to solve the business needs and deliver the right business outcomes. And from the support perspective, getting the sufficient technical knowledge where they can support the implementation, we can help adopt the customer better for their customers, tailored to the role, both in the short form as well as the, like, long detail form, which the detail form can take a bit more time because of the, I would say, depth of the content. And that needs to be instant or almost instant to be delivered in the hands of the people who actually need it. That is the shift what is needed. So the traditional way of, like, taking maybe months to get the content ready is not going to scale.
Right. But this is helpful, Praveen, and this is from the generational side. But then there are different persona. I think Trailer already addresses so many different kind of people. And then there are different experience levels within those personas also. And then there is a chat-based interface. Okay, I want to learn about this stuff and I know this thing. Why don't you train me or educate me from this point? And then there is a last angle is to give a quiz, which again has to be somehow dynamic. So how do you see this big shift coming in that way, that people have limited patience, they want to quickly go there rather than scrolling pages? So not just Trailhead, but in general, do you see LMS evolving from the consumption standpoint also?
Oh yes, it has to, and that's what I mentioned about leveraging, like, not just thinking about AI as an add-on. Like, now you have built your LMSs like same old traditional. Now you're putting an AI layer on top of it. No, it has to be thought through from the ground up in terms of, okay, this is where the world or the expectation of the world is going. This is what people would be expecting, like, in 2, 3, 4 years. And that's how you need to think about in terms of delivery of the content, in terms of the experiences. And you mentioned about different roles, and within the roles, like, different maturity level, right? Different
Ooh.
experience levels. And you need to be able to personalize the content based on that. I mean, I would say how things are, and if I compare that with how AI is evolving, we were, until last year, we were in the world of, like, training the models based on the existing content what is available. Now we are getting into the stage of where the inference is catching up, and many companies are actually starting to experiment, starting to adopt the inference, like, okay, based on what the model already knows, what it can infer. And that is the inference part is going to help with the personalization. Like, okay, you're asking this kind of question. This is probably what you need. And how can I tailor all the information available to me your based on your questions, right? I should be able to infer your level of maturity or a level of knowledge, and to be able to serve the content in the right format. And also, it's okay to ask those questions based on who's asking for help, or and see what personalization means for this person versus this person, because every person, like, knowledge habits, the preferences, all that is different. So how you get that and to be able to serve it. And you mentioned about the assessments, same thing there, that also needs to be tailored. So the old way of having a question bank and serving the dynamic questions is not going to be relevant very soon. So everything needs to change based on that.
Right, right. And I think there is a lot of hacking happening already. Like people have these assistants, like Comet has that assistant, ChatGPT has an agent, and they can actually do a lot of things on their own to solve the quizzes. So the system has to really bulletproof themselves from that
Yep.
angle also. But I think this is very exciting and we can go very deep. But just for Trailhead part, in next 1 year, what can people expect like as a major shift coming, or what they can probably see first?
Yeah, I'm not going to go into the roadmap, like, sharing it, because that's not going to be the right thing to do. But, like, directionally, things I mentioned, which is about, like, recommending based on the personalization, and to be able to have content easily available faster, is another direction. One of the other things what we are also looking at is, I'll bring the customer success and the learning world together in this comment, which is anyone who's engaging with Salesforce. And why should a customer, or why should a Trailblazer worry about which part of Salesforce organization you are engaging with? It needs to be one unified, seamless experience. So that's something top of our mind for many years, and I think we are like making some big changes in that direction in terms of even our, like I would say, few years ago, bringing everything, like as I mentioned, like 4 different pillars under one trailer umbrella was a step in that direction. But even that was great, but I think we need to do better in terms of the bringing all these experiences. So from your perspective, you have a particular business outcome in mind, you want to accomplish that, and that business outcome could be related to, you want to just learn about Salesforce, or you want to learn about a specific product, or you are running into an issue where you need help in terms of solving that issue, or you need help with an implementation guidance, or you want to engage with an expert. Like, yes, you are like done with the self service, and you say, I need to talk to expert. You should be able to get access to any of it through one experience, and that experience needs to be part of where you are in the journey. Even you should not even worry about where should I go. I'm engaging with Salesforce should know about, this is where I am in my journey, and to be able to serve you what you need at that point of time in your flow, and to be able to meet those needs.
I'm still stuck with that expert thing. If you have a system which knows the guy who is doing some work, let's say admin at a very advanced level, and then you match up an expert who at least is 2 notches above
Yeah.
that admin to solve or help them in the thing, that will be very, very interesting to see.
Yeah.
Can we expect something? I will not ask more, but can we expect something at Dreamforce, this Dreamforce on Trailhead
Well,
side?
Dreamforce, you will see a lot of announcements both from the customer success and the Trailhead perspective, and a lot of that is in. I mean, as I mentioned, that's a direction. Some of it we will be able to accomplish this year, and some would come next year.
Okay, perfect, perfect. Now, I think let's change gear, Praveen. Let's go to the another big role or big transition you had is digital success engineering, and you're leading that team. First of all, like for everybody, what is digital success engineering like?
Yeah, so I'll talk about the customer success, right? The customer success is all about making our customers successful to accomplish their business outcomes. And when we talk about the customer success, our customers and trailblazers, they engage through multiple channels. And most of those channels are like digital channels. And we actually focus on how we make that experience uh, like pleasant, and at the same time, like very, very customer centric, for our customers to be able to get what they need, when they need it, and where they need, through any of our digital channels. So that is what we call our digital success. And any digital engagement our customers are having with us, making sure those experiences are exceeding the expectations of our customers. And like many of the customer zero use cases you are seeing, like help.salesforce.com, where we implemented agent codes, is one such example of like a digital experience for our customers, where we are making sure we actually provide not just the self-service experiences, but at the same time, like easy recommending, easy engagement with experts through like, of course, agentic experience first, but easy access to experts when needed.
Got it, got it. So, what are like 3 or 5 key KPIs for you in this role? What you are trying to ensure? Definitely customer success and those things are there, but a unified digital experience, is that one big thing? Or
Yeah, so I think I'll respond in 2 ways. One is I mentioned about one unified, seamless digital experience for our customers. That is the goal, and from the experience perspective. And you might have heard of Customer Success Score. We launched 2 years ago, and as part of that, we have like hundreds of signals we measure for our customers. And every year we are adding more and more signals to make it better. So what we measure is we measure product adoption of our customers. You bought the product, licenses, what features you're using, what features you're not using, and why. And having those proactive conversations with our customers to make sure it's not that we are finding it out once the customer is unhappy about certain things. We proactively know that this is what you're using, this is what you're not. How can we be a better partner, better consultant, and advisor to you to learn more about it, because you bought the product, you already have it. How can you better use it? Second part is the like technical like health of our customers. How well you have implemented, where you are struggling, and so mm, that also proactive engagement there. We already know that where you are, what you are struggling, your cases, and etc. Where we can partner with you. And then the technical expertise, how much your teams they are learning about the product proactively. Like we look at your trailhead data, we look at training data, we look at your certification data, we look at other engagements, both uh, like online as well as through the events and all. So we take all that into account. As I said, like we have hundreds of signals we look at. We measure that in terms of like we have a customer success score, which is like, okay, from customer health perspective, this is the score this customer has, and have that ongoing continuous engagement, and basically delivering the value to our customers. They feel like, yes, if they bought the product, they are getting value, they are getting that ongoing engagement to make them successful. So we measure all of that as part of our KPIs to make sure our customers are getting the value they deserve.
Ro- Right, right. And I think the big thing is to make use of all the features, because at times some other people come and they see the Salesforce and they tell that you bought a lot of licenses, a lot of things which you don't need. So it's better if it comes from Salesforce ahead of time that, boss, you have these 5 things. Why don't you make a good use
Yeah.
of it? Or this is how you can probably improve your productivity or team's performance or whatever it takes.
Yeah,
So
definitely. And
this
we,
is
we have a proactive conversation where sometimes if you say, you know what, you probably don't know you have this and you don't have a use case to probably to be able to use it. And we can be also have a conversation on, okay, if these not, then maybe you want to transition with some other licenses and maybe shift to agent force and start taking advantage of that. So that ongoing engagement is very important.
right, right. How much of this is automated and how much is manual? Like, do you have some triggers after 1 years of buying license, or was 1 year? I think is too long. 6 months maybe, or 5 months down the
So
line.
yeah, we basically for all of our signature customers, they have access to it. So it's automated. So we are going based on the success plans whichever customers have. So it was for signature. We would be working on making it available to our premier customers as well. So
Hmm.
that's so based on the, as I said, success plans. It's part of your, when you log in, you go to your dashboard, your own account dashboard. You see that score, and you can drill down into it and look at all three aspects of it: your product adoption, your expertise, your technical health. You can go into the details and you can look at all of those signals, and we alert and have your account managers and other partners you are already assigned, they engage with you on that to help you be
Right,
successful.
right. And my trailhead, is that still a thing? Because I think you mentioned you track the employees and their progress also.
We are using that internally for our employees, but externally we stopped selling it. I think it's been a couple of years now.
Okay, okay,
Yeah.
got it. So how do you like connect all the employees and teams, like by email IDs or domain names? Like this
Yeah, I
is
mean,
how these
so
people.
yeah, for basically like the internal MyTrailhead implementation was basically for based on Salesforce.com internal domain, and that's the content is also segregated based on that, so that the internal employee only content, it's in a separate workspace which only employees have access to, and then we have a public site of Trailhead.
Perfect, perfect. Any key customer success story or game-changing impact which you can share from the digital success experience so far?
I would say not like one. There are so many of them, especially now in last 6 to 12 months. From the Agent Force perspective, we have now thousands of customers who are leveraging Agent Force, and you will see like many success stories coming in Dreamforce as well.
Dreamforce. Yeah,
Yeah, Dreamforce,
yeah.
you'll hear lot many customer stories coming for that. I mean, yes, definitely we are customer zero, and we have like more than 1 million conversations now on Agentforce. But we have many customers who are actually leveraging it, from like Mercedes Benz to many, like doesn't matter what the industry is. We have customers in every industry.
Right, right. Anything specifically you're doing for AI adoption or agent force adoption as part of the digital success? Because definitely there is a general adoption challenge. And then with AI, as you also quoted, like people are a little skeptical and then they are not sure how much to take live into production after trying the things.
Yeah, I mean, it's a multiple, I would say, work streams are there. Like we have dedicated teams, dedicated organizations who are working on it, like from offering free certifications and free training, which you probably are already aware of, to based on the success plans of the customers, the proactive engagement, free trials for our customers. So there are multiple, I would say, plays which are working for our customers to engage, to try it out, and to be successful.
Perfect, perfect. I think if we now try to educate the people, especially from India or anywhere, who are, let's say, in developer role, architect role, if they want to take forward this AI agent force thing, keeping Salesforce in mind, what are the key changes in mindset, or what shift do you think people should have now to keep up with Salesforce and in general AI revolution?
Yeah, I would say like doesn't matter you are engaging with Salesforce or any other AI platform, AI technology. It's a constant learning. You always need to. I mean, this is something which I tell my kids as well. It's about knowing what is available, even if you decide not to use it. Having a knowledge of how it is impacting, how it is transforming your industry or what you are passionate about. Learning about that every day, learning about just the basics of AI and the power of AI, how it is going to change things. I mean, especially knowing that things are now changing on a weekly basis, having enough knowledge about, you can have intelligent conversations about it, how it is impacting your space. And as I said, doesn't matter what you are interested in, what you're passionate about, and how that world would look like in a year, in 3 years, or even 5 years, and making sure you are ready for it. Because if you are not, somebody else will.
Right,
And that's the mindset I think we all need to have. And I like encourage everyone I speak to continuous be a continuous like learning and be a student for life, especially for this. And
right,
like
right.
from the source or the channel, yes, it matters. But as far as you have a reliable channel to get the accurate information and you know about what's happening in the industry.
Perfect. That's, I think, true, very true actually right now. And on that note itself, and as we are moving towards the end part of the podcast, so we typically do like 4, 5 quick questions. So you mentioned learning. What is your favorite book, podcast, TV show, or YouTube channel which inspires you most or which helps you most?
Yeah, I would say I'll talk about a couple of things. From the book perspective, um, I read there's a customer success focus book by Nick Mehta, who was the CEO of Gainsight, and
Hmm.
a couple of others. I felt that book was very inspiring, and a lot of what we are doing at Salesforce is very, very much aligned to it in terms of like proactive motions, how we um, uh, like gather all the signals for our customers to make our customers successful. Another one comes to mind is Creativity Inc., which is like, especially in today's world of AI, is very inspiring and very relevant, even though that was probably written a few decades ago.
Okay.
It's about how you create a culture where you are inspiring and motivating your teams to be creative and coming with ideas of, and like especially with AI. I mean, many of the things or many of the skills, they are going to be taken over like sooner or later by AI, but your creativity, how you leverage it, how you create new products, how you create new experiences, that is going to be the core
Very
of like,
different. Yeah.
yeah. So that's something which you need to like inspire and encourage your teams to do more of. So I love that book. In terms of like podcast and to keep myself up to date on what's happening, not just today, 5-10 years from now, I listen to many podcasts,
Joe
including like,
Rogan.
sorry.
Joe Rogan.
Yes, that's definitely one of them. But there's a you can do a Google on search on moonshots. It's basically they're great speakers. They talk about not just today, like 5 to 10 years from now. So that's
Okay.
fascinating. I mean, I try to spend at least a couple of hours every weekend, like morning time, to catch up on what's happening, what's new, and it's like a big spectrum of things they talk about. That's one, and like all the visionaries in the industry who changed the world. So pretty much like anything which is interesting comes my way. I at least give it a shot to go deep, and if it's interesting, like finish it. So
Right. Right. That's good. One related question. I think creativity, as you said, there is a very interesting thing. Like previously, like you have to work days and weeks to get some basic prototype ready now, lovable, Replit, and everything which you can see. I think
Yep.
10, 20 apps which can generate a thing in a prompt itself. So, do you think basic SaaS, not a heavy SaaS, but a basic SaaS app that's doing expense management or very trivial things, will those be dead and will go again on premise because people will have their own AI tools? The stack is cloud based. They will just prompt and create basic things, have one engineer fix it, and why go external? Do you think that kind of shift will come?
Yeah, it is already coming. I think it also comes down to is, I would say, shifting 100% probably may not be a right thing to do, because if you are building your own, you may stop learning from other experts. So you also need to be open of, yes, while you are trying to build your own, what like makes sense for you and works for you. Always continue to learn about what others are doing and what's happening in the industry, because you don't want to be in your own bubble. That's the only comment I would say. Yes, while you, like, for example, I build my own tools as well at times, like for stock analysis, for other things, right? But at the same time, I'm also learning, is like, what else is I may be missing, what else is happening in the industry, what else I can take an advantage of to make things better, and not just stay in my own bubble.
Yeah, I love that point because at that time when you're cloning that idea, like make me an Expensify clone, you're
Yeah.
cloning maybe at that version, but that team maybe is dedicatedly innovating that thing. So you might want to see what they're doing rather than locking yourself into. That's a
Yeah.
very, very good observation.
Yeah. It's basically like you don't want to limit it to your own knowledge. You also want to learn, continue to learn.
Right, right. One thing, if you can answer and you can say pass also, which is your favorite AI assistant, Chat GPT, Perplexity, Cloud, or anything else which you
I
use
mean,
day
I
to
I
day?
would say I use ChatGPT more, and I definitely something which is, I think it also depends on the context of what you are like. In some cases, getting an answer is good enough, or getting a response is good enough. In some cases, you want to be more deeper and more competitive and more psych. So in that case, I go to multiple at the same time. So it also depends on what I'm looking for.
Right, right. What do you think of Perplexity? Just taking your perspective. They are trying to be in Google's shoes or like taking up Chrome, building their own Comet, and then Google is trying to do the same thing. Do you think this will scale up and Google will lose the dominance they have right now?
I don't think so, because, as I said, every week, every month, you are hearing about new innovations, and sometimes you don't know until that innovation is out.
Hmm.
So sometimes you don't even know what the companies are cooking behind the scene until things are out, and then you say, okay, like one is better than others, and maybe next week some things might change.
Right, right. That I agree. Like Google came up late in image generation, but Nano Banana is, I think, decent.
Uh,
And
yeah, I was just going to give the same example of banana.
so, moving ahead, if let's say we talk about any key feature in Trailhead, I think we talked about Trailhead a lot, but any feature which most of the people don't know, what it will be.
Well, I would say most people, they know and they use it, but not everybody does. Like, especially the power of playgrounds. That, I would say, is, don't just like go through foundational learning. Take a full advantage of it, especially doing hands-on, trying super badges, trying like projects, taking advantage of the playgrounds, and do hands-on and learn, not just like read, and play with it. And then if you want to go deeper into it, you can always engage with experts. But definitely, playground is, I would say, still underutilized in many cases.
Right, right. And you know, the my favorite part about Trailhead is actually super badges and ability to use playgrounds because I'm not a studious kind of person since my childhood. So I love doing that hands-on kind of thing.
Yeah.
And those super badges at times are really complex. So that helps a lot, especially from our internal team training point of view also. That why don't you do that thing?
I agree. I mean, I get stuck many times, and I was like, oh, I probably need to go back and learn, and sometimes go back to what I probably learned a few weeks ago to really master that. And actually, that's another reason why you need to do it, because it enforces you to get better at it.
True, true. And as we are coming to end, the last question is about giving back, charity, community. So I see you're involved with the Sparsh Club India, and then I think it's based out in Sacramento. Why don't you tell us a bit about part?
Yeah, actually, the name of this community org Spursh we created many almost like 10, 12 years ago. So I moved into this part of Sacramento suburbs about 18 years ago, and we at that time like we had a very small Indian community and felt the need to. And kids were young; they were probably like second, third grade of school. So it was a combination of getting them closer to our Indian roots, Indian culture, and also like bringing that humility of how you give back to the community, not just ourselves, and like showing them with examples and getting them involved into various activities. Doesn't matter if it's like education or food serving or some other camps. So we ourselves got involved, brought our kids together. Like one of my hobbies is teaching. So I used to run math clubs and teach maths in the community. So getting kids prepared for different math competitions, like Math Olympia type of competitions. And that was my passion for like bringing my kids, because if I'm spending time teaching other kids, my hope was my kids will be part of it and they will learn. They'll get better at it. And actually that served us really well, from both helping the community kids, my own kids, uh, and so I was kind of as part of the leadership team. So like doing multiple events throughout the year, celebrating Diwali, Vaisakhi, or like different Indian festivals, and organizing it for the entire community, with food and dances and like traditional cultural things. And as I said earlier, doing the food donation events, clothes donation events. And if there is a like specific event in India, or specific like occurrence of things in India where you need to bring the community together to support bringing the community for that, we did. So it was like multi objective, is basically, as I said, bringing the communities together and staying connected to our roots, and also the younger generation, making sure they are connected to the the Indian culture and what it means. So we basically like different members of for different community, from Sikh community, from like Hindu community, and coming all together and doing celebrating everything together.
Right, right. I think, yeah, that's definitely a fun thing. One thing which was stuck in my mind is you teaching math and those things. So it seems education is the core and somehow a life theme going all along.
It has. If I was not into the tech or engineering career, I would be teacher. That was my passion when I came out of school. Probably once I decide to, like, I would say, not retire, come out of this tech world. Even that's going to be a lifelong learning. I think I'll probably shift to more teaching.
Right, right. No, that's definitely a noble thing to do. And it's a dying profession also that needs a lot of help as well from experts.
Agreed. I think it's that motivation of like continue to teach and continue to give back is not there at the same level as what it used to be. But there are still like excellent teachers who want to do it, but for some reasons they are not able to.
Right, right. No, totally. I think this was really excellent, Praveen. Very wonderful to know about Trailhead, digital success, so many things. Any last words which you would like to pass to Trailblazer community or to the audiences?
I would say is something which is near and dear to me, and last I would say few decades of career. Uh, my personal belief, and somebody says like, if it's one piece of advice, what would you give? I would say having clarity of your own personal values, like what wakes you up every day, doesn't matter if it's a personal or professional life, having that clarity of the values and making sure it aligns with your own belief, your own brand, and they both are powering each other. Your brand is powering your values, and your values are helping your brand. I think that's I mean, a big believer of that, and for me, that has served me well, has made me successful, and hopefully that helps you as well.
Yeah, that's, I think, a very fair point. But I think at times people take a lot of time to realize what is it is. And I think in Japanese call that ikigai kind of thing, like what can make you money, what really motivates you. And there are three or four quadrants. So,
Yeah,
but
I mean,
perfect,
it's basically
Praveen.
keeping things in check also, right? It's if if you are not successful, maybe your values are misaligned.
Yeah, I mean this is very interesting. And again, what
Yeah.
I have seen is I'm a little younger than you, but people know it at a very later stage, and somebody has very much good clarity at a very early stage also. So it's very interesting that way.
Yeah. And really, really enjoyed, Abhinav, this conversation. So thank you for like scheduling this and having a chat.
Likewise, Praveen, and maybe we'll connect again in 2026 once you have more AI and more things built on top of Trailhead and other things. Thanks a lot for your
Yes,
time.
definitely. Thanks, Abhinav. Take care.